Good morning, grade 5. Our subject for today is Math 5 for quarter 2, week 4. And our topic is multiplication of decimals after two decimal places by 1 to 2 digit whole numbers. And for our objective, at the end of the lesson, you are expected to multiply decimals after two decimal places by 1 to 2 digit whole numbers. Multiplication of decimals is somewhat similar to multiplication of whole numbers. For sure, you are familiar with the rules on how to multiply. Let us explore the process. Try to answer the given questions. Look at the square with one side measuring 4.2 centimeters. And the first question is, can you guess its perimeter? Okay, so the perimeter of the square is 16.8 centimeters. Number 2, how can you find the perimeter? In finding the perimeter of the square, we can use the formula P is equals to 4S. Number 3, how many sides does the square have? A square has 4 sides. And what can you say about its sides? The square has 4 equal sides. A square has 4 equal sides and each measures 4.2 centimeters. We can put this as 4 times 4.2 is equals to n. So 4.2 times 4. So we will multiply first like the whole numbers. Regroup if necessary. So multiply first 2 times 4. The answer is 8. Then 4 times 4. The answer is 16. Count the number of decimal places in the factors. So 4.2 has 1 decimal place. And 4 has 0 decimal place. Number 3, place the decimal point in the product and the decimal place in the product is equal to the total number of decimal places in the factors. So we have 1 decimal place. And that means the answer is 16.8. Physical activity burns calories. For every 3,600 calories burnt in your body, you lose 1 pound. Look at the table below and compute the total calories burned while doing some related activities. Suppose you weigh 85 pounds and walk for 2 hours. How many calories did you burn? For the solution, we must multiply first 85 times 2 times 2.4, which is the calories per hour per pound. So 85 times 2, we have 170. And then 170 times 2.4 is equals to 408.0. Because 170 has 0 decimal place, 2.4 1 decimal place, therefore our answer should have 1 decimal place. So put the decimal point 1 place to the left, and this means that you burned 408 calories during those 2 hours. For learning task 1, solve the following problems. Write your answers in your notebook. So for number 1, the weight is 102 pounds, 3 hours, and then jumping rope. So for the calories per hour per pound for jumping rope is 3.8. So let us take number 1 as an example. So we have 102 times 3. The answer is 306. So 306 times 3.8, which is the calories per hour per pound using the jumping rope, is 3.8. So we multiply first 306 by 8. And the answer is 2,448. And 306 multiplied by 3, so the answer is 918. Then we will add. So 2,448 plus 918. So let us go back first. So 306 has 0 decimal place. And 3.8 has 1 decimal place. So therefore, when we add 2,448 plus 918, our total will be 1,162.8. So we put 1 decimal place for our answer. So that means the calories per hour per pound is 1,162.8. Okay, so for number 2, we have 75 pounds for the weight, then 1.5 hours, and then the activities is house cleaning. Okay, so let us answer number 2. So we have the house cleaning, so the calories per hour per pound is 1.6. So let us multiply 75 by 1.5 hours. Okay, so we multiply first 75 by 5, and the answer is 375. And then multiply 75 by 1, the answer is 75. And then let us add. So 375 plus 75. So we have now, we will bring down 5, and then 7 plus 5 is 12, carry 1. So 3 plus 7 is 10. So plus the remainder, or plus, plus the number 1. So we have 112.5. So 112.5, so we have 1 decimal place, and then multiplied by 1.6, which is also 1 decimal place, and then 112.5, or multiplied by 6, the answer is 6,750, and then 112.5 multiplied by 1, so the answer is 100 or 1,125. And then let us add. So 6,750, and then we have 1,125. So let us bring down 0. Okay, and then 5 plus 5 is 10. So we put 0, and then carry 1. So 7 plus 2 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. So 0, carry 1. And then 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 1 that we carried is 8. And then we have, we will bring down 1. So the answer now is 180. So, or 1,000 or 18,000. Okay, that is the exact answer. But we put decimal places, 2 decimal places. So the answer now is 180 calories per hour per pound. Okay. So let's move on to number 3. So the weight is 105 pounds. So the hours is 2.6 hours and the activities is running. So the calories per hour per pound is 2.5. So first, we multiply 105 by 2.6 hours. So we multiply first 105 by 6 and our answer is 630. Then we multiply 105 by 2, so the answer is 210. And then we will add. So we will bring down 0, and then 3 plus 0 is 3, 6 plus 1 is 7, and then bring down 2. So we have now 273. So 273, so we have 0 decimal place times 2.5, which has 1 decimal place, and then let us multiply. So first we will multiply 273 by 5 and our answer is 1365. Then let us multiply 273 by 2 and the answer is 546. And then let us sum it up. So we will bring down 5 and then add 6 plus 6 is 12, carry 1. And then 3 plus 4 is 7 plus 1, we have 8. And then we have 1 plus 5 is equals to 6. So the answer now is 682.5. So we put 1 decimal place because we have only 1 decimal place in our factors. So the calories being burned for running is 682.5 calories. Then let's move on to number 4. So we have the weight is 170 pounds and the hours is 0.6 hours and the activity is swimming. So let us solve. So 117 pounds times or multiplied by 6 hours or 0.6 hours. Then we multiply first 117 by 6 and the answer is 70.2. So 70.2, so we have 1 decimal place multiplied by 3.8, which is the calories per hour per pound. So it has also 1 decimal place. And then let us multiply. So 702 multiplied by 8. So the answer is 5,616. And then 702 multiplied by 3. So the answer is 2,106. And then let us sum it up. So we will bring down 6 and then multiply, add 1 plus 6 is 7. And then we have 0 or 6 plus 0 is 6. 5 plus 1 is 6. And then bring down 2. So for a total of 26,676. But we have to put the decimal point and then for the factors we have 2 decimal places. So the answer now is 266.76 calories being burned for the swimming. Okay, for learning task 2, find the product and write your answers in your notebook. So we have number 1, 4.29 multiplied by 12. Number 2, we have 12.47 times 3. Then number 3, 8.4 times 14. Then number 4, we have 26.43 times 5. And then number 5, 10.78 times 13. Okay, so here is the possible answer. So for number 1, so we have 4.29 multiplied by 12. Okay, so 4.29 has 2 decimal places. Number 12 has 0 decimal place. So when we multiply for 0.29 or 429 by 2, so 9 times 2 is 18, carry 1. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 we have 5. So 4 times 2 is 8. So we have 858. And then let us move on to uh, number 1 is the multiplier. So 4.29 or 429 times 1, the answer is 429. And then let us sum it up. Okay, so we will bring down 8, and then 5 plus 9 is 14. Carry 1, so 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11, and then 4 plus 1 is 5. So the answer now is 51.48. So we have 2 decimal places. Okay, so let's move on to number 2. For number 2, the given is 12.47 multiplied by 3. So 12.47 has 2 decimal places, and then 3 has 0 decimal place. So let us multiply 1,247 by 3. So the answer is 3,741. So but we put the decimal point because it has 2 decimal places. So the answer now is 37.41. Okay, so let's move on to number 3. So the given is 8.4 multiplied by 14, and 8.4 has 1 decimal place while 14 has 0 decimal place. So let us multiply 8.4 or 84 times 4. So the answer is 336. And then 84 times 1. So the answer is 84. So let us add. So we will bring down 6. And then let us add 3 plus 4 is 7. And then 3 plus 8 is 11. So we have 1 decimal place. That's why the answer is 117.6. Okay, so let us move on to number 4. So we have the given, which is 26.43 multiplied by 5. And 26.43 has 2 decimal places, while 5 has 0 decimal place. So let us multiply. So the answer now is 13,215, but we will put decimal point 2 places. So now the answer is 132.15. Okay, and then for number 5, so the given is 10.78. So that is 2 decimal places multiplied by 13. It has 0 decimal place. And then let us multiply first 1078 by 3. So the answer now is 3,234. And let's move on to number 1 is the multiplier. So 1078 times 1. The answer is 1078. And then let us add. So 3234 plus 1078. So the answer is 14,014. So we put two decimal places. So we put decimal point, two decimal places to the left. So the answer now is 140.14. So in multiplying decimals using 1 to 2 digit numbers, always remember that the answers should have the same number of decimal places in both numbers you are multiplying. So for learning task 3, solve the given problems. Write your answers in your notebook. So the first problem is, if a notebook costs 5 pesos and 25 centavos, how much is the cost of 6 notebooks? Number 2, a working student earns 25 pesos and 50 centavos per hour. How much does he earn in 4 hours? If he works 3 days a week, how much does he earn in a week? Number 3, Mrs. de Guzman's class traveled 3.8 miles to the first observatory, then the next closest observatory is 13 times far. How far is the second observatory to the first? Number 4, a chocolate bar weighs 8.7 grams. Find the cost and the weight of 115 chocolate bars if each bar costs 30 pesos and 20 centavos. Number 5, a kilogram of beef costs 180 pesos and 90 centavos. How much do 95 kilograms of beef cost? Okay, so here is the possible answer for question number 1, or for problem number 1. If a notebook costs 5 pesos and 25 centavos, how much is the cost of 6 notebooks? So first, we will multiply 5 pesos and 25 centavos, and it has two decimal places. So multiplied by 6 notebooks, and 6 has 0 decimal place. So let's multiply. So 525 times 6, the answer is 3,150. So for the product, or for the factors, we have two decimal places. Therefore, the product has also two decimal places. So we will move the decimal point two decimal places. So the answer is 31 pesos and 50 centavos. Okay, for problem number 2, a working student earns 25 pesos and 50 centavos per hour. How much does he earn in 4 hours? If he works 3 times or 3 days a week, how much does he earn in a week? So we multiply 25 pesos and 50 centavos. So it has two decimal places, multiplied by 4, which has a 0 decimal place. So the product will be 10,200. So it has two decimal places, so we will move the decimal point two decimal place. So the answer is 102 pesos. And then 102 pesos multiplied, or it has two decimal places, multiplied by 3, because he works 3 days a week, and it has 0 decimal place. So the answer is 30,600. But for the factors, we have two decimal places. So we will put the decimal point for two decimal places. So the answer is 306 pesos. Okay, so for number 4 problem, a chocolate bar weighs 8.7 grams. Find the cost and the weight of 115 chocolate bars if each bar costs 30 pesos and 20 centavos. So for the solution, we will multiply 115 and it has 0 decimal place multiplied by 8.7 which has 1 decimal place. So we will multiply first 115 by 7 and the answer is 805. Then let us multiply 115 by 8. The answer is 920. And then we will add to find the total weight of the 115 chocolate bars. So 805 plus 920, the answer is 10,005. But with but in our factors, it has one decimal place, so we will put the decimal point for one decimal place. So the answer is 1,000.5. So to find the total cost of 115 chocolate bars, we will multiply 115 and it has 0 decimal place. So multiplied by the cost of chocolate bar, which is 30 pesos and 20 centavos. So it has 1 decimal place. So we will multiply first 115 by 2. So the answer is 230. And then we will multiply 115 by 0. So the answer is 000. And then 115 multiplied by 3. So the answer is 345. And then we will add. So the answer now is 34,730. But in our factors, there is 1 decimal place. So we will put the decimal point before 0. So the answer now, or the total cost of 115 chocolate bars is 3,473 pesos. Let's move on to number 5 problem. A kilogram of beef costs 180 pesos and 90 centavos. How much do 95 kilograms of beef cost? So we will multiply 180.90 and it has 2 decimal places. So we will multiply that by 95 which has 0 decimal place. So 180 or 118,090 multiplied by 5. So the answer is 90,450. And then we multiply 180 or 18,090 by 9. So the answer is 162,810. So we will add 90,450 by 162,810. So the answer now is 1,718,550. But in our factors, it has two decimal places. Therefore, the product has, we will put also the decimal point for two decimal places. So the answer now is 17,185 pesos and 50 centavos. And that concludes our discussion about the topic multiplication of decimals after two decimal places by 1 to 2 digit whole numbers. I hope that you learned a lot from our discussion this morning. Thanks for watching. Bye.